Alright everyone, first I'm going to address Createspace. The first part of this video is not directed at my audience. It's for the purposes of explanation for Createspace, and first and foremost, a disclaimer, I don't have a stick up my ass about Createspace. I disavow anyone who's insulting you or sending you spam or whatever. Not my intent. I'm trying to let you know that there's a glitch or some problem in your system, and you need to take care of it because I actually like your service and use it as an editor and author and have for now almost 5 years. Here's what's happened. Createspace has temporarily suspended my account. Now, it's not a permanent suspension. My titles are still available other than the suppressed ones, so, you know, I can still sell books, but I can't see how much I'm making off of them. A little bit of a disadvantage, I think, and a little bit odd. They've done this because multiple titles recently, as part of my re-editing project, have been suppressed. They've been suppressed due to, copyright content sort of stuff. Let me explain why this is nonsense. Every single one of these titles that you are suppressing with your validation process, whether it's, I don't know whether it's fully human or mostly automated, every single one of these is allowed under our copyright laws. I'll tell you why. I have already submitted proof of copyright years ago for these texts. These are re-edits of works that I already had hosted on Createspace and supplied copyright proof for, in some cases, 3 or 4 years ago. These are works from centuries ago. The only difference between the files you're suppressing and the ones that were already there is that I've changed the cover art and the font inside. It's a re-editing project. What I was doing was going back to some of my older works that no longer are up to snuff by my new standards. I use a new trim style. I use a new sort of basic template on my covers. I use a different font now than I used to use. On some of my oldest works, therefore, and some of these are quite popular, the Sefer Bahir, the Grimoire Verum, and so forth, they're no longer up to snuff, so I decided to go back and improve them to give people a better reading experience. Your system, I think, is determining them to be potentially copyrighted because I've already had additions on there and it must be comparing the two. Then I'm getting emails saying, please prove the public domain status of these works. You need the author's name, date of death, and stuff like that. I can't always supply that. In some cases, these works don't have a listed author. It's impossible. Like the Grimoire Verum, nobody knows who wrote it. It was written in the 17th century, I believe, or 18th century. It is impossible for the author of the work to still be alive. It's also a derivation from multiple other sources anyway. It's a bric-a-brac work like the Petit Albert. You've got to understand a little bit of literary history here. All of these works are public domain. If someone else has text of these online, it's because they've made their own transcription, but that doesn't mean I used theirs. What, I am perfectly allowed to take, like a PDF scan of an original work, and you look at it, it's like, oh, written in 1826 or something. Well, there you go, it's in the public domain. The fact that I'm using that as a source to derive from doesn't mean my edition isn't substantially different. I do the cover art myself. I write forewords for all of my works. I do a grammar check. I reformat all my works. In most cases, I've also heavily modernized the English because most of these works are centuries old. I don't like to have a bunch of old English unless it's in the form of invocations. My worry is that because this may be an automated sort of thing, my worry is that if I were to go back and even attempt to re-edit my own authored works, because, I think I've got like 20 works that I myself have written on Createspace, I have a feeling that even that would come up as copyrighted. That's a problem for me. Now, what my fans can do is quite simple. You can tweet this video at Createspace. They may see it there. You can maybe message it there to their account. Now, you could potentially email and send it to them, but I wouldn't recommend it. Now, I want you to be respectful. You've got to keep in mind, I work with Amazon. I actually like Amazon as a company for publishing purposes. That's why I choose to use Createspace, which is an Amazon subsidiary. So I'm not saying I have a stick up my ass about the company. I'm saying there's a problem here. A big problem that's preventing me from logging into my account. As an author and editor, I kind of need to be able to do that to keep using the service. I can guarantee all of these works. All you have to do is manually check these against the original files that I uploaded years ago, and you'll see they're the same thing. You've already allowed them on your platform for years. They are in the public domain. My editions as well are substantially differentiated from any other copy that you're going to find online. You simply have to look, and you'll see that for a fact. Mine are in modern English. Most of these are Old English works, or at least semi-archaic English. You know, the English language in the 1700s is a little bit different than it is today. Nobody else has modern English versions of these works. So I would appreciate having my account reinstated and these titles desuppressed. I've already as well re-emailed it. The other problem is, because there are so many works that are being suppressed in short order, because I guess that part of the process must have been manual somehow. Judging by the timing of the emails, that is. Watching them come in basically real time. They get jumbled together, and I don't even know what you're asking for which edition all the time. So if I don't respond in a timely manner, which was mentioned in the emails about my account being temporarily suspended, it's not my fault. Your automated system is overloading the email thread with things that don't even list the title ID that they're referring to. I don't know, therefore, if I'm getting 3 or 4 different variants of what I'm supposed to supply, I don't know which one is for which. So yeah, naturally, the title will still be suppressed. I have to take a shot in the dark at trying to actually get them reinstated. I can supply you all the proof as well that I want, but for some of these titles, here's the odd thing. For some of the titles, I'm supplying the proof that you want, and yet I'm still getting rejected. For a couple of others, they were desuppressed, and I think the Bahir and the Philosophical Merlin were both then accepted after I submitted proof, and yet my account still got suspended inexplicably. All you need to do is manually check. I've got, for instance, with the Sefer Yetzirah, I uploaded the new files without directly replacing the old ones. Wise for me, I think, so there's still an edition for sale at any given time. Check the interior. The old one, of course, will be retired when the new one is, fully accepted and desuppressed. They're the same thing. It's exactly the same, except the old one is in a 12-point font, which at the time I was using, which is ludicrous. An 11-point font is far more professional, and it's got a different cover, and I think I changed like a sentence in the foreword. That's the only difference. You already accepted one of them. Why wouldn't you accept the second one? The only person who has a copyright to any of my editions is me. I am the sole copyright holder for every single work that I have on Createspace. I can guarantee that. I would be willing to sign a legal statement saying that too, because I know it to be the case. I've substantially changed every one of them. I would never use a copyrighted source for any of my works. Trust me, I know better, because I know potentially I could be targeted for political reasons at any given time. I'm not stupid, and I've been doing this on your platform, no less, for quite a few number of years. I like your platform, but this needs to be taken care of. Something's wrong somewhere. A staffer decided they didn't like me, an algorithm fucked up, I don't know exactly what it is, but I am a legitimate author and editor, an expert in the occult as well, I can tell you. All of these works I'm working with are definitely public domain. That's about all. Peace out.